And in our continuing to speed our way through to these next runs, we have our next one ready. So Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage 14 Talisman. Guessing I know what that means, but anyways, Dylan, you are free to take this. Let's see it through.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's DylanJayFox here. We're here with Speedromizer. I'm pretty new to Spyro games in general. I'm really excited to play this here. No, seriously, it's actually awesome to be able to perform Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage here. 14 Talisman is one of my favorite categories, if not my favorite category in all of Spyro, and I'm super duper excited to showcase it for all you folks here today. Just a little heads up to you, we only need $20 more towards the donation incentive for me to put on the Spyro costume. So once you guys are ready with that, I'll chuck that on as soon as you put it in. Just a heads up.
It is 35, but
oh, I thought somebody said told me 20. 35. I apologize. That's just what I was told. Anyway, we're gonna get right into it. Spyro 2 is a great game, and let's get rolling.
Oh yeah, also, since I know there was also a poll for the model color, the one that is won is red.
Okay.
Is it working, Professor?
Maybe pull up the code for it.
Just a few more adjustments to these orbs and...
Also, the time was supposed to start with the cutscene, because, yeah.
It's perfectly fine that did. It usually starts unfaded. So
okay.
Okay, so Spyro's gonna be starting here in red, as you can see. It's not like a super harsh red, but it's kind of like a little red hue over him. Usually it's like a little more purple, as we saw like there in the little intro screen. So Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage 14 Talisman. This category is basically a trick exhibition. If you've seen a 16 star by Mario, or let's say a Crash Bandicoot category, well, Crash Bandicoot doesn't really have major skips, does it?
This magic.
I really don't know speedrunning that well, do I? It's basically your trick heavy category. We're going to be seeing a lot of things like Spyro double jumping around, which includes an X and square input rather precisely in certain sections to gain a certain bit of height. We're also going to be seeing what are called proxies, which are forcible ejections by the game where Spyro is in a place where he should not be. So the game will be forcibly ejecting him in either an upward, forward, sideways type momentum-based thing. In the case of this first level, we're actually going for what I consider to be the hardest proxy in the run, which is Beetle. I'm probably about 20% consistent at it, so I'm not confident I'm going to hit it here. But we're going to give it our best. Line up with the Beetle. Almost. I got inside of the hitbox, but unfortunately my input was a bit late. So the idea is you're inside the hitbox and you're pressing an input that you're not supposed to be able to do. And then be able to... By doing that, it'll basically tell the game that Spyro's in a state that he can't be, and then it'll just eject him in whatever direction he needs to be ejected in, which oftentimes, for what we're going to be doing, is going to be up. We have a lot more of those coming up, so that's not going to be the only example you're going to see. And with missing that, I get to optimize my gem collection. So you see in the top left, I have currently 101 gems. Overall, the reason for that is because we need to actually open up a couple of doors or paid money bags a couple of times. Where without doing that, we're basically soft locked out of kind of continuing the run in a couple of areas. So we really need to optimize our gem collection to make sure we're on, you know, a decent pace overall with gem count in mind. One thing you're also going to see occasionally is I'll run out of these end of level portals, and you might be thinking to yourself, can't you just pause and click exit level? You can, but the pause menu takes so long to come up that in certain scenarios, it is actually just faster to run to the portal, as is the case in Idle Springs here. All right, and hop right into Colossus. So Colossus is kind of the sister level to Idle Springs. You'll see it across the whole of Spyro 2, where kind of there are sister levels where the NPCs are identical, or like they have similar like things going on. Like in this case, like they just have similar NPCs, but in the case of like later levels like Zephyr and Breeze Harbor. They're actually warring factions, which Spyro helps both sides, mean that he is a war criminal in this game's context, which is pretty cool when you think about it. I think being a war criminal as a dragon's kind of rad, especially when he's red right now. It's pretty dope. What's up, Kieran? Love this guy. Also, if anyone in chat has any questions about the game, feel free to ask. So you guys might be wondering, we've collected a couple of these now, right? That end of level object is called a Talisman. In the first 2 homeworlds of Spyro 2, you collect up to 14 of them, and that lets you get through to the final homeworld, which is Winter Tundra. The first homeworld has 6, and then the second has 8. And the reason we collect them, and the reason that this is a category, actually, if you're wondering, is because this is considered to be the legacy any % frog proxy. Oh, very nice. All right. So that frog proxy saves about in the range of about 8 seconds, which is very nice to hit there. I'm gonna optimize, grab a couple gems here on the side. But yeah, it's considered a legacy any %. And what that really means is that the original any %, or this was the any % before we found what's called the Gulp Skip, which is the second boss in the game. And we basically needed to collect all 14 talismans to get to Winter Tundra. That category is significantly shorter because you don't have to go through all the levels and don't have to pay money bags for anything. But I will say, I don't find it as fun. I think it's cool, but I just like 14 talisman. There's a lot more tricks, a lot more variety, a lot more flavor to it. And yeah, that was a Hurricos clip, by the way. I'm forgetting to talk about certain things here. I keep going for my split button too. Just how I am. We love that frog. So Hurricos clip, it's very simple. You kind of just push into a wall there, at the angle roughly that I was, and you'll just clip through most of the time. I will say it's widely considered to be almost like an RNG trick, because it's a little weird. Like they work, they do, but sometimes they just don't, and that's okay. All right, so here we're gonna be setting up the turtle for what is notoriously known as turtle proxy. It's a little bit far back there. The idea is we want to aim for like this turtle's forehead, go into it, and you'll eventually get ejected forward and up. And we're gonna be aiming for like a little hole in the ceiling. Okay, having a bit of a tough time here with the turtle. Honestly, this proxy is rather rough. All right, you see, it's very easy to get high ones, but not easy to get high enough ones, oftentimes. All right. All right. So this is both a combination of making sure Spyro is landing in the right place as I jump into this turtle, and also a combination of doing the inputs at the correct time. Which right now I'm actually doing a lot of very early inputs and I can feel it in my hands, but they're not wanting to correct yet. So we'll keep going, keep giving it a go. Okay. I'm gonna lock in, I'm gonna focus up. Man, I am struggling with turtle. I actually haven't struggled with turtle this bad all day. I was doing attempts this morning. Got a couple of very solid times, couple close to PB paces. There we go. And yeah, it just wasn't giving me that much of an issue. But we get out of it. We keep moving. All right. Now the idea with this button is you want to walk off and then start charging as your walk off finishes, so you go straight through. All right, regardless, we get out, we continue, and I continue to go for my split button. Another quirky thing about Spyro 2 that I've neglected to mention thus far is at the end of each of the levels, you've kind of seen one there. As I've exited, there was like a couple of turtles sitting there in like inner tubes. Every single level has an opening and end of level cutscene, which generally speaking, they're really cute, they're very quirky, but they do take time to skip, and they're a little bit annoying in the speedrun context, but they don't overstay their welcome in my opinion. But just figure I'd mention them. All right, so we're reaching the end of the Summer Forest Gauntlet, and I refer to it as a gauntlet because it really truly is a very difficult gauntlet of tricks, which most people either say turtle is the end of the gauntlet, it's hard, or some people will say that sheep is. So I've gotten bottom sheep, we need the second one to work. Ooh, that was close, okay. So the idea is we want to get to the end of level without going through the level. The reason for this is because we physically actually, in this form, can't, because we haven't bought Swim. Swim is usually a required piece of completing this level, as without it, you actually can't swim underwater. That stinks. Unless you press one of these buttons and it presets you to being underwater, which the only one that it does that for is going to be this next one. So basically, if we can't hit this proxy, we can't progress. But also, comma, watch this. Man, that would've been cool. That would've been pretty rad. I keep getting small ones. My inputs again are like a little bit early today. They're definitely feeling a little bit shaky at the moment, which gets me a little bit antsy for one of the later tricks, but we'll talk about that when we get there. A little bit far away that time. And hop back up. Another very quirky thing about this level, just generally speaking, for anyone curious, very nice. Finally got a turtle, or sheep. Is in the reignited version of the game, we do a very similar skip where we jump up to this area, except for we don't do the proxy at the end, because we can just talk to the guy and get the talisman. For some reason, the reason why we need to get the water down to talk to him, the reason for that is because his AI is programmed to only give you that talk box and the talisman when you've actually made the water, when you made the world wet again, so to speak, as he so eloquently put there.
Well done.
Right, and just like that, we're gonna be heading into our first boss of the run, and missing the hole. So Crush is very much so the easy boss of the run. He is, you can mess it up, but not nearly to the same degree as some of the later bosses like Gulp and Ripto. But here we're gonna be lining up. We're gonna be jumping over his first attack here, having him do his like little ground pound. And then we're gonna hop over here, and this pad is where we're gonna stay for the remainder of the fight. So the reason for this is you don't want Crush to move that much because it takes away from his time using attacks. By kind of removing that movement element of him going from button to button to button, you save a couple of seconds overall. And to do that, you really just take damage abuses for the hits 2 through 4. And also, we're going to be able to jump over his attacks on the next bit. This also, coincidentally, is a blue pad, if you're wondering, which is, again, just very ideal for us. I messed up. I missed the sheep. That was really bad of me. Alright, we're not standing on that pad for the remainder of the fight. I lied to you. Going over to this one, and you're going to see a very strange strat. I need to recover this for time. You can double jump over these fireballs. Some runners elect to do it. I will say it is immensely slow comparatively, but it is what it is. And yeah, that's Crush. That's the first boss of the run. I paused because I was trying to skip the Crush to feed screen, even though you can't even do that. Brain was not working. It wasn't on. Okay, so we're gonna be heading into Crystal Glacier. I just checked over chat. If there's anything I can do on my end to help with the audio issues, just feel free to shout it out. We are gonna hop through Crystal Glacier now. Do a double jump across here. Normally you have to free those guys first. We're not going to. And here we normally have to free these guys, but we're not going to here either. Instead, we're gonna do what's called a Sproder up that wall and make our way towards the end of level. Very nice. We're gonna hit snowball proxy. Very nice. We made it just barely on top of that. This saves roughly in the range of 8 to 9 seconds, if you're curious, compared to like running all the way around, which we can do by going all the way around and jumping on a piece of the scenery there. Yeah. No audio issues. Why is it called Sproder? So the reason it's called Sproder is, you know, I'm a New Yorker, so I'm a really big fan of Spider-Man. The idea is he's clinging to a wall, right? He's clinging to a wall and climbing up it, similarly to Spider-Man. That's the idea. And because his name is Spyro, we call it Sproder to kind of mesh the two names together, making for a beautiful marriage of mechanic and application to the mechanic. I'm gonna take my headset off here, let my hair flow free. You guys like the hair? Is it good? Is it good today? I think it's sat very nicely today, personally. All right, so once again, just optimizing our gem count, focusing on getting as many gems as possible as we're going through the levels and just the order that we're going through. The goal overall gem count wise that we want across the run, the number that we need to be able to do everything we need to do is just 800. And again, that's just because we have 2 levels we need to open via money bags. My hair does look incredible today. All right, putting it back on. Not just hair cam anymore.
It does, but you know what would look even better? That hair with the Spyro outfit. Whenever if we could get the money to do that.
Yeah. Once again, we're just $35 away from the donation incentive. I'm actually wearing the bottom half of the Spyro onesie right now, so if you guys want to see it for the remainder of the run, I will put it on as soon as we get notification of that donation coming through. So feel free, if you have the spare funds, to of course, support our great charity.
I should clarify, it is 35 Canadian, not US, but the point still remains.
Yeah. Yep. So that was Breeze Harbor. Forgot to talk about it completely. It's a very simple level. You just charge across, you do a fairly precise double jump onto the top of that ship, which normally you would have to light 2 flames to have rise up, that way you can get to the portal. Fortunately, we don't have to. Another thing we don't have to do is buy climb in this game. So Spyro has an ability to climb up ladders, which oftentimes we very commonly will need for a myriad of different applications. However, in the 14 Talisman category, as well as any percent, and really actually just about any Spyro 2 category, you can do what I'm doing now, which is called Climb Skip, which, as implied, allows you to bypass the climb ability by simply going up. It's that simple, just go up. 25 USD for the Yanks, come on. Put some money on the Yankees, hey. All right. Scorch is a wonderful level in terms of gem count. I would have loved to showcase a specific version of Scorch, but I haven't practiced enough, nor have I routed it. But basically, you can actually proxy off the camel at the start instead of doing what I'm doing now. It saves a couple of seconds, but you lose out on quite a bit of gems. It's why it's not considered optimal for most routes. But I've been working on a gem route that does make it optimal. And yeah. That was Scorch. It's a lot of this level, a lot of this category, as you'll kind of see, it's just kind of going from the beginning to the end of the level. That's it. It's not really that complicated, but there's a lot of scenarios where it can be a bit difficult to do that, right? One of which coming up right here in the form of Fracture Hills. So in Fracture Hills, you normally have to free 6 satyrs to proceed. Instead of freeing the 6 satyrs, though, I'm going to be attempting what's called satyrless, which, as it sounds like, I'm just going to be avoiding the satyrs at all costs. So they're encased in stone like this one here on my left. And we're going to be going over here and doing some weird camera stuff, so bear with me. I'm going to focus up a little bit here. All right, get Spyro into this bit of scenery. You have to do some fairly precise camera stuff here as to not reveal where the fawn is located. The reason I say it like that is because the end of level NPC is a fawn, and if you reveal her, it doesn't allow you to do the trick. And we got it. First try Satorless. That's huge. That's actually huge. I was really scared about that one not hitting. I was much more scared about that than I was anything in Summer Forest. Let's go. That's huge. That's very, very sick. And again, you're basically trying to avoid showing her on camera until that 1-frame window where you land in front of her. And by landing in front of her while she's still there, you can collect the talisman and then she'll disappear. But you got the talisman, the end of level portal appeared, so you don't need her. Genuinely, that trick is widely considered one of the hardest in the category. It's very difficult for reasons that are kind of just, it's awkward. It's very different than everything else. But super hyped at that run. I don't know how many marathons it's been hidden, if I'm being completely honest. It's probably been hidden in USC, which, if I can be so bold, if you guys like speedrunning marathons, USC Marathon is also a wonderful, wonderful one. Of course, Speedromizer here is incredible, and I do encourage supporting them as much as possible. But USC, if you guys want to check it out sometime, is pretty cool too. All right, and we're gonna hop right up to the top of Magma Cone.
Will also absolutely vouch Speedromizer. It has been great as someone who's been in the last 3 of them.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. That's sick. What games did you do in all 3 of them? I know you did Spyro Reignited, right? For this one?
Yeah, for this one. The one before this, I did the initial game I thought I couldn't do, but I ended up doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Sacred Hearts for that one, and then the first one I did was VVVVVV.
VVVVVVVVV is a really good game. I don't know how many V's there are, actually, but I just started saying V, and I thought it'd be funny if I just kept going.
You said enough. You got plenty of V's in.
Okay. But no, it's a sick game. I've watched that actually quite a bit.
It is a very fun ride.
Another Sacred Cards, I've never seen the speedruns for it, but I played that on Game Boy as a kid so much. Great game.
The speedrun for it is absolutely silly because you go through like the first 2 fights normally, and then you just do a bunch of passwords for cards, and then you just stomp the rest of the game pretty much.
Oh, that's pretty good. I like that. I like just winning. It sounds a lot better than Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. Which
I've heard horror stories about Forbidden Memories.
It's a wonderful experience. I mean that so like non-sarcastically. It's just you have to kind of be in that mentality of like, yeah, I'm just playing slots. Like that's kind of what it is. That's what it feels like. You're just gambling. Anyway,
I mean, given the Speedromizer logo, I guess that means it would be a fit.
Hey, listen, if we do an FM race on here, I got you. EJ, just hit me up with a DM. I'll get some people, get an FM race on here someday. So Shady Oasis, this level, by the way, is you just run through. You have to like flame all these different trees. It's an escort mission in a lot of senses, which for anyone who's ever played a video game, pretty much ever, you probably don't love these types of levels or these types of missions or quests or whatever the term you want to use is. But unfortunately, that is a part of this game. So here we're gonna just hop in through the end of portal and gonna be going on to what is the last normal level of the run here soon. So we're gonna go through, try to collect another 17 gems on the way, and we're gonna talk to Alora, who, if you don't know, is kind of the main NPC of this game. She's our friend, she's our guide, she helps us out and guides us to different levels. And one of her functions that we use is we talk to her here. The first time we do, she'll be like, oh, the gulp door isn't open. Oh no. And the second time she does, she's like, oh, do you want to go to this new portal that you haven't visited yet? And she teleports us right to Moneybags, which coincidentally is right at the beginning of Autumn Plains, which we would have had to walk a very far distance to get back to. So overall, this saves quite a bit of time, despite not really being a speedrun trick. It's an optimization, which is very nice. Zephyr is a cool level for a couple of things. First, walls are optional, and also walls are walkable. So we're gonna go on through here, double jump and glide. Okay, that was very close. That was a bad double jump by me, but we made it. Flame that barrel, otherwise he will hit us. And here we're gonna be attempting what's called Balloon Proxy. It's a very happy, very exciting proxy. Didn't get enough height on that one, but you get the idea. Ideally, you get enough height. I kind of got more of a forward one there because I waited a bit longer on my press, but it is what it is. Okay.
Whoa!
Yeah, let's talk to Corporal Glug. He was just in an explosion, but he's chilling. He just wants to give us a talisman. It looks like a grenade, which, again, this level along with Breeze Harbor are basically warring factions, which Spyro helps both of them out. Again, Spyro's a war criminal. Probably the best part of this game. Probably the coolest thing. All right. So here, we're going to get auto-teleported back to Allura, now that we have 14 talismans. And we're able to fight my big green wife. My big, green, beautiful wife, Gulp. She loves me very much, and the RNG of her fight is very, very kind, I promise. We're not going to see a lot of bad RNG, I promise. I very notoriously have some of the worst Gulps in all of Spyro speedrunning, whether it be across the reignited version of this game or the original. For whatever reason, this boss fight is something that I am unable to do very well at a consistent level. But we're gonna do our best to get what are called doubles and triples, which actually right now we're coming up on our first free double. We have 3 types of objects in this fight. We have rockets, we have barrels, which I used before, and bombs, which I used just a moment ago. The rockets and the barrels we can actually typically use to get doubles with in combination with any other piece. However, if you get 3 bombs, you will just not be able to do anything in the way of trying to get a double, and you will simply cry. These barrels are a little bit far away. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna flame this one over. I couldn't. The egg kind of got in my path there, and I didn't want to just bonk on a barrel. So that's rough. Is what it is. We're also seeing this little strat where I'm walking behind Gulp a lot. The reason for this is simply because if I do this, I shouldn't have done that. I have no idea. My awareness there for where the rocket was so bad. The reason for this is just because it makes so he doesn't do any of his attack animations, and instead we can just keep him kind of positioned here in the center where he can't really do too much damage. Okay, let's get this. Okay, fine, just do that. All right, so this isn't a good Gulp by any stretch of the means, but I've genuinely, as bad as this sounds, I've had significantly worse. You can also get what are called triples here, but if I'm inconsistent at getting doubles, as you've seen so far, I am that much more inconsistent at getting triples, which is way the road. I did the same thing earlier, actually. That's crazy. Alright, and he will die there. We're chilling, we're out, we're getting past him. This has been a very rough Gulp, and we are going to be heading into the home stretch of the run, which includes us getting into Dragon Shores early, which is normally considered post-game content.
I finally come up with a...
After you've defeated Ripto. But the reason we're going to do Dragon Shores is to get a power-up called Fireball, which will help us out immensely in the pre-mentioned Ripto fight. Okay. Could not get a penguin proxy. Usually the idea is you want to proxy off the hitbox of those penguins and go out of bounds to a place where I'm going to show you here in a moment. All right. Go over here. We're going to hop onto this. This one normally takes you to the top of the steps, but we're going to take it over here to the right. And we're going to hover onto this bit of scenery over here. And we're going to clip out of bounds and go underneath this portal here. The portals for Spyros 2 and 3, just a little heads up if you guys have seen Spyro 3 runs as well, they're actually stored right underneath where the portals actually are in most cases. So that's exactly where it's stored here in Dragon Shores. So we just had to kind of hop underneath. And then there we had to do a fairly precise double jump. I know I make it look easy, but I promise you, you can spend a good while doing a double jump over that wall, and it will be rather tough to do. And we're gonna get Fireball by going out of bounds here. And now we have Fireball for the final boss. So here, what I actually had meant to do was I meant to go and do another thing here called Theater Skip or Theater Sprouter to get Swim in Air. But instead, in my mind, in my head, I decided I'm that guy. Instead, I'm just going to hit first try Sir for you guys. So this is widely considered to be the hardest trick in Spyro speedrunning. The reason for it is it chains together a significant amount of very precise inputs as you're going around a wall. And to give you some context as to how difficult it is to hit, I personally spent over 50 hours hitting it for the very first time, and now I very commonly hit it in every run. Whether or not it's a PB pace run or not, I still hit it. Genuinely, that's very sick.
Spyro, we want...
That's very cool. That's very cool. I'll take a second try. The first one wasn't bad, but I kind of went onto the wall a little bit early. And yeah, we're gonna be fighting the final boss, Ripto, here now. Which, all in all, he's pretty easy with Fireball. There's still like, things you want to optimize, like getting an early hit on the Gulp phase as well as on the Pterodactyl phase here in a second, which we're going to be aiming up and shooting about there to get. You're going to see his health drop. Yep, we got an early hit. Very nice. So the first two hits, he's kind of moving around a bit slowly. Third through 6 hits, he's kind of doing like this more sporadic, kind of hard to predict where he's going type thing. I'm having a rough time with him right now. He's gonna go over here. And now we just need to read this hit here and then turn around. They should be coming here. And that's time. I probably should have said that we're coming up on time, to be fair, but I forgot to. I forgot. My brain just wasn't on. And yeah, that was Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage, 14 Talisman. Pretty okay run all in all. Satorless did a very... Hitting first try Satorless, second try Sir was a pretty big highlight for me. Unfortunately, our Summer Forest didn't go as well as it could. We missed basically everything, except for Frog. But overall, pretty solid run. Speedromizer, thank you for having me. And yeah, any questions? Anything going on? Anything exciting coming up here on the docket?
We do have a couple more runs coming up for tonight, but before I bring those up, where can people find you? Is there any shout-outs you want to give, apart from what you've already done?
Yeah, sorry, I was kind of just segueing in my mind when I said that anyway. If you guys would like to, you can check me out. I'm DylanJayFox. I'm just gonna type in chat, twitch.tv/DylanJayFox. I typed my name for some reason. I don't know why I did that. If you guys would like to check me out personally, also if you guys have any interest in running Spyro yourself, be sure to go to speedrun.com and check out any of the Spyro games. We have a community Discord, lots of friendly people that are willing to help you learn any of the games you might want to run. So be sure to join, whether it's for Spyro 2 or another game in the trilogy, like we saw with Vortex earlier with Ryu, or earlier with Reignited here.
Reignited, yeah.
Yeah, with... I couldn't think of that. I was like trying to say, like, is it Insane? I don't know why I was thinking Insane. As well as
oh yeah, the trash re-releases.
Yeah, but my brain just like broke a little bit there. As well as if you guys do like other speedrunning marathons, we're going to be doing a second edition of the USC or Ultimate Speedrunning Championship Marathon here soon. It's a separate marathon, which if you'd like to check it out, it's USC Marathon on Twitter. So check that out if you'd like to as well, and we're putting out more information about that as it releases. We'll be having some stuff out soon regarding it though. But yeah, thanks for having me.